Tonight on the South Today, a Dunedin teenager with a major worry on her mind, whether she'll inherit a deadly degenerative disease or not. Beloved Southland department store chain H&J Smith confirms it'll close more stores for good later this year. And an anti-co-governance tour around New Zealand is met with more counter-protests in the south. Kia ora, good evening. I'm Hannah Wilkins. Imagine living day by day, wondering if you've inherited motor neuron disease. Dunedin teenager Bree Wallace had to watch two loved ones die from the disease and says she wouldn't wish it on her worst enemy.
Holding up a picture of her late mother and not knowing if she could potentially meet the same fate. Bree Wallace is a typical Dunedin teenager, but wonders every day if she's inherited a degenerative disease that's hit other family members. Her mother passed in 2012 from motor neuron disease, and then her auntie died from the same disease in 2020.
Watching the loved one pass and slowly deteriorate, like going from walking to a walker to a wheelchair, and then not being able to speak, move their arms, is just... It's horrible.
Motor neuron disease is a rapid and fatal disease that attacks the nervous system, and the genes that cause it can be passed down through generations.
I haven't been tested yet, but it's still like, you know, wow, I could carry this life-threatening disease that could potentially kill me at the age of mid-40s to 60s.
But the teenager says she's focused on living life to the full and is grateful for the love and support from non-profit organisation Motor Neuron Disease New Zealand. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Universities around the country have been thrown a partial lifeline, with the government announcing additional funding to support the institutions. Otago University is set to get an extra $21 million over the next 2 years, on top of a 5% boost previously announced in May's budget. It's part of an additional $128 million package announced today by the government for tuition subsidies at degree level or above. The money comes from underspending in the government's tertiary education budget, largely due to spending less on the fees-free scheme because university enrolments declined. Otago University has been in the spotlight with protests against plans to axe hundreds of jobs in a bid to solve a $60 million hole in its budget. The doors of H&J Smith department stores in Invercargill, Gore and Frankton will close for good before Christmas. The company has been carrying out a month-long consultation process with staff, but says part of the business is no longer sustainable.
Department store chain H&J Smith has confirmed it's closing its doors for good. After a 4-week consultation process, the H&J Group has announced the company's remaining stores in Invercargill, Gore and Queenstown will close on November 18. Group Managing Director Jason Smith says the reasons are varied, but ultimately the department store business is no longer sustainable. The decision announced on Monday evening will see more than 200 people losing their jobs, with staff being offered support including counselling and career planning. However, the company is considering whether some areas of business could continue independently from the H&J Smith brand, including Gun City, school uniforms and Paper Plus. More details on those options is expected in the next few weeks. In Invercargill, the South Today.
It was a big yes from Dunedin City councillors this morning as they voted in favour of increased bilingual signage around the city. The initiative's being driven by Waka Kotahi New Zealand Transport Agency, who are consulting on a proposal to incorporate te reo Māori into traffic signs. All councillors at the full council meeting voted in favour of supporting the initiative, some saying it would help to normalise everyday use of te reo. Councillor Lee Vandervis has voiced his opposition to the proposed bilingual signage previously and on social media, but was not present at today's meeting. Chief Executive Sandy Graham says the proposed use of Māori before English reflected what was considered to be culturally appropriate. The council's decision will be submitted to Waka Kotahi, with Councillor Mandy Mayhem saying bilingual signage is well overdue.
The incredible abilities of our brains.
A controversial co-governance roadshow is continuing to tour around the South Island, despite counter-protests in some centres. A meeting's being held tonight near Cromwell, with hall owners saying it's about freedom of speech. But protesters at the Invercargill meetings had their concerns.
Love, faith and peace for everyone. That was the message from an opposition gathering outside a Stop Co-Governance meeting in Invercargill on Sunday. The controversial roadshow, run by evangelical preacher Julian Batchelor, has been touring the country since February.
Matariki and all that sort of stuff, in my opinion, is brainwashing, and it's propaganda, and it's grooming the country for tribal takeover.
Protest organiser Lisa Toe McNaughton sat through the 3-hour presentation on Saturday evening.
It actually made me feel very sad that people can spread misinformation under the guise of Christianity and unity.
The meeting was initially scheduled at the Invercargill Workingmen's Club, but public pressure saw the club cancel the booking. Despite the controversy, Invercargill Mayor Nobby Clark welcomed the tour to the city, referring to Batchelor as his colleague.
I was a bit embarrassed about the fact that we couldn't get a decent venue in Invercargill. It seems to me that everybody's prepared to tag these guys, and I don't know how radical they are and what their message is, but the principle is you should have a right to say what you want to say.
And while freedom of speech was a key talking point at the meeting, some in the crowd weren't keen to hear the opposing views from some of the protest group during the Q&A session.
Clearly you people have come to create a bit of disturbance. So, you know, we came to listen to the message, we like the message. If you don't like the message, just leave quietly.
Around 60 people attended each meeting at the Ascot Park Raceway on Saturday and Sunday, with a counter-protest of around 20. The nationwide Stop Co-Governance tour is set to continue until early August, stopping off in central Otago and South Canterbury this week. In Invercargill, the South Today.
Yakane still to come on the South Today. Those who don't mind a hike are getting excited about a brand new Port Hills lookout with vast views, and a Heriots Club rugby player who's quietly chuffed to tick off 300 games pulling on the blue and white.
All new episodes of Put Some Colour in Your Life are now screening on Channel 39. Take a look at Australian artists and the techniques they use in their studio. Put Some Colour in Your Life. Tuesdays, 7:30.
Drive away your way with 3 incredible offers on the Honda CR-V Adventure Ready range. Choose from 2.9% finance with zero deposit, third finance, or lease a new CR-V from just $136 per week. These offers are only available for a limited time, so be in quick. From Honda.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Here at Age Concern Otago, we offer a range of services to support Otago seniors to age well with dignity and independence. We provide social work support, visiting service, health promotion and social activities. Check out what we have on offer at ageconcernotago.com.
Aero, used by Australia's top bowlers with their unique Z-scoop grip that redefines the game. Machined with robotics for unparalleled accuracy, Aero, same line, every time.
Tēnā, welcome back. A breathtaking new lookout point was unveiled in Christchurch recently, captivating locals and visitors with its natural splendour. The John Jameson Lookout is high in the Port Hills, opposite the sign of the Bellbird, with views overlooking Littleton Harbour. Work on the project started in May last year, with the new structure costing around $400,000 to build. The platform features a new car park, a panoramic panel pointing out significant places, and a low wall made from Port Hills stone. The Summit Road Society named the platform after the late John Jameson, a lifelong advocate for the enhancement of the area. Their goal is to attract more nature enthusiasts to truly immerse themselves in an awe-inspiring experience. A passionate club rugby player is celebrating a remarkable sporting journey in Gore after achieving a significant milestone in the Premier Division. Heriot rugby player prop Blair Young demonstrated his fitness on Saturday during a tightly contested battle against his team's bitter rivals.
A triple centurion, showcasing his young energy and fighting hard for his team. Heriot Rugby Club prop Blair Young played his 300th game for the team at the weekend in a nail-biting encounter against Clutha Valley. Young was delighted with the Heriot team's performance during the milestone game, his side emerging victorious at the final whistle, winning the game 24-22.
Good to get the win today. It was a bit of a arm wrestle there. We could have gone either way in the end, but yeah, thankfully the boys pulled through and we got there, so yeah, it's pretty special.
Young was a part of Heriot's strong team in 2013 when they clinched Otago Rugby's Southern Premier competition, going on to win the nationwide final. He says his dedication comes from his never-ending love for the sport and insists he's never really paid attention to his appearance numbers.
Just another game really, it just rolled around I suppose, like yeah, week in, week out. Never aimed to play 300, but it's just something that's happened I suppose. So. No, pretty cool though.
Young isn't thinking about when he'll hang his rugby boots. He's more focused on staying fit for the rest of the season and enjoying more wins with the Heriot team. In Gore, the South Today.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South Today. Dunedin teen Bree Wallace is scared she's inherited the motor neuron disease gene which killed her mother and aunt. Confirmation H&J Smith department stores will close their doors in November, marking the end of an era for Southland. And a co-governance roadshow stops off near Cromwell tonight, with the nationwide tour getting a wave of counter-protests. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. We welcome Associate Editor Mike Houlihan. Hello Mike.
Good evening, Hannah.
What can we expect in your paper tomorrow?
Well, there's been a major announcement from the government today giving extra funding to universities throughout the country.
Yes.
21 million I think it is to the University of Otago, which will be much needed given the current financial travails they find themselves in.
Absolutely.
So we're analysing that tomorrow and what that means for the institution and the staff.
Okay, what else can we expect to read?
There'll also be an update on a raft of car thefts and thefts from cars around the region, and the way that the brazen thieves are busy publicising their exploits, in inverted quotes, on social media.
Right, okay.
We've got details of a planning hearing in Wanaka where Zoe Tedeschi-Sinnott and Nico Porteous beamed in from the United States in support of a dry slope training facility at Cardrona.
Great, okay.
And we have our quarterly fresh publication tomorrow, a big lift out publication full of lots of winter recipes to try out.
Stunning, look forward to it. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Time now for a look at the weather.
The South Today weather, proudly brought to you by MoleMap, the skin cancer detection specialists.
Looking at the situation, a week of cold southwesterly airflow starts tomorrow, with the weekend shaping up to be especially cold and windy, with snow flurries possible to low levels. Heading to the top of the South Island, 13 degrees in Nelson tomorrow with light winds and some cloud. Greymouth's a bit showery with southwesterlies and a high of 12, while Christchurch looks drizzly with 10 degrees and light southerlies. Travelling to South Canterbury and North Otago. Windy with some rain through here tomorrow and 10 degrees across the board. That's for Ashburton, Timaru and Awamaru. Heading westwards to the Central Lakes. Southeasterly winds pick up in the valleys here tomorrow with some late afternoon showers and cool temperatures. So expect a high of 6 in Queenstown, 7 up in Wanaka and 8 degrees in Alexandra. Heading further south, 9-degree highs through here tomorrow with some rain at times and freshening southerlies for Gore, Balclutha and the Catlins. And across to Invercargill, cloudy tonight with a low of 7. Tomorrow's looking cloudy too, with showers and fresh southeasterlies with a high of 13. Thursday is very similar, but this is where that wind change comes through thick and fast as a southwesterly, and the day's high will be 9 degrees. And finally, heading to Dunedin. Rain tonight with a 7-degree low and southerlies. Wednesday will be wet with rain throughout the morning and the evening. The break in the middle of the day bringing cold southwesterlies and overcast skies with a high of 10. Thursday is another cool, windy day with showers first thing before a high of 9 degrees. And that's the news this Tuesday. For the latest news and videos from the Southern region, head online to odt.co.nz. You can follow Channel 39 on YouTube to catch our news bulletins on demand. And we're also on Facebook. Just search for the South Today NZ to see our favourite stories from around the regions. We'll see you again tomorrow. Ka kite o popo.
Public interest journalism funded through New Zealand On Air.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Living Well Disability Resource Centre, a not-for-profit charitable organisation and your one-stop shop for information and resources to help you retain independence. We offer a wide range of assistive products from jar openers to mobility scooters and provide assessments for Total Mobility, the half-price taxi scheme. Come and see the friendly team. You'll find us on the corner of George and Bath Streets, ground floor of Burns House.
Every day the team at Gillian supports grieving families at their time of need, from answering your questions to organising a farewell that reflects the wishes of your loved one. We can help. Call Gillian's today.
Earth is a planet of extremes. Extreme places and extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others. Join us as we count down to find the most unusual, the most extraordinary, the most extreme.